Hello and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn back with you here again in Boyles of Killorglin. Thanks a million to John Dromey for filling in for me last week and looking after my good friend Miguel. Miguel, how are you?
Welcome back.
Thanks very much. You're good as well too?
I'm all right. I cannot complain.
Not
I
complaining.
can, but
you
I
can.
better
Look,
done.
we've got lots to complain
exactly.
about. It's been a rough
we
week.
could do a special about complaining.
I don't know, would people want to watch that or listen to it?
At least we will be releasing.
Okay, yeah. We'll have an uncut after version. Listen, it has been a rough week. You know, the weather has been kind of tough. The rain is kind of coming in, and I know you guys covered a bit of the kind of more winter flowering on the last show last week. But this week we're going to be thinking forward, Miguel, because some people may think that, right, okay, everything's going, dormant. There's some winter flowering that's there, but planning for spring is actually, it's a very important time.
It's a very important thing. It's very, not only what we are going to talk about today about bulbs, but there's plenty of things you should do for getting your soil and your garden ready for next spring. We could do something about that maybe.
Yeah, we might talk about that on the next show.
But we're going to talk about future flowers.
Okay,
right?
Looking to the future, 2024.
So, exactly. So we're going to we're going to try to talk a little bit generally and a little bit more specifically about some of them. The bulbs, the spring bulbs.
So spring bulbs, yes.
But
so we've
I
got
want to tell you something before it will be about the summer ones.
Okay.
Right? So don't forget removing begonias, cannas, and dahlias in winter.
Yeah.
The first frost, they will be black.
Okay.
It's time to remove them, dry them, store them from next year because they won't be they won't be surviving in the winter.
Okay.
But again, when they fade, when all the leaves are gone, it's time for them to be moved.
Okay.
Normally first frost.
Right. And with that, so everything, they've started to fade, would you cut back down to the stem and then just remove the roots?
So don't just leave the green part till it fades, till it's yellow, and then you can cut it back.
Okay.
Don't cut it when it's green, because that green is feeding the bulb that energy that it's gonna need for starting next spring. So wait, be patient, even if your garden is looking a little bit ugly.
Yeah.
Don't go mad and start sharing all this with the shares.
Yeah. Just go a bit mad. People can go a bit mad sometimes, can't they?
Because it doesn't look well after the flower, but that's energy that is going to the bulb.
It's going to actually save it and help it grow so it's like literally saving stuff on the battery. So that's it. So your dahlias, you're taking them out, and a couple of other things you're going to put them in a nice dry area.
Cool area
in the shed.
With some paper, shredded paper, wrapped in newspaper or something like that.
Yeah.
And
then we forget about them until spring.
Till spring.
Okay.
And then we go to these fellas. That is the perfect time now. Between September and December. December will be the last month that you should be planting them.
Okay.
But most of them, they will be they will be liking it very much if you plant them now in September.
Okay.
Tulips. The tulips, you have to plant them in November or December when the soil is cold.
Okay, right.
To avoid tulip fire is a fungal disease.
Tulip fire.
Tulip fire is a fungal disease that affects the tulips.
Okay.
When the soil is not cool enough.
Okay.
So they just the bulbs just go soggy.
The warmth actually affects the
bulbs.
Affects the bulbs.
So it's better wait until November.
Okay.
Although you can do it in September, October. But it's better wait until November,
to be sure,
even December, to be sure that the tulips are going to be all right. But rather than that, the earlier the better, September, October. So it's better coming now and doing it rather than wait until the last moment to get a nice offer. The flowers will be smaller. Some of the bulbs won't germinate properly. So it's all a matter of timing.
And the timing, does the weather come into it at all, Miguel, as well? Because obviously, putting it into wet soil, that's kind of what I'd be afraid of, because we always talk about, the bulbs that might rot in the soil. What makes them different? Are the tulips a little stronger, or what is it?
No, it's stronger. It's just they're different. They all behave differently, and some of them, they don't like soggy soil. Sometimes they prefer cooler. They need some of them. They need cold in the soil to start getting started. So they are all different. We call bulbs to many different things. They are tubers, they are different things that we call bulbs, but they are different things. And We name them the same, but they're
Yeah.
so real bulbs will be crocus, will be tulips, will be daffodils, while anemones and other plants that are more tubers or
Yeah.
rhizomes like dahlias, and
Right.
but
And that's also referring to the shape as well as how
yeah,
they behave.
yeah. You see some things that the dahlia is like a hanging.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
hand.
yeah, yeah. I've always thought
So
about
that,
it. Yeah, yeah.
that's rhizome.
Okay.
So when to plant them? September, December. How to where? In a sunny spot, preferably. Bluebells can do in shade, but normally partial shade, sunny. It will be a rule of thumb for them. Planting them 2-3 times the depth of the bulb.
Okay. Yeah.
If you plant them deeper, they will be
Too deep.
We will
Yeah.
be in trouble to get out of
Yeah.
this.
So they need to be a kind of a sufficient enough depth that they'll be able to shoot through at the right time. Because
Exactly.
if you put them too deep, they'll be coming up the couple of inches and they'll be expecting to hit sunlight and they don't. So we have to work
they will
harder.
start.
All the energy's gone, and by the time it comes through the surface.
And
it's
on
not
the
gonna
other
be good.
hand, if you put them too shallow,
Okay.
they won't have enough strength
All right.
because they need to struggle a little bit, like
All right.
everybody to grow.
Yeah.
They need to struggle to grow.
It's like going to the gym. Well, it is for me
Exactly.
anyway.
You-
I
you
struggle.
suffer, you struggle, but then you grow.
Yeah. So some of them are a little kind of rounder, and then you've got your kind of lengthy ones there. So
Those are daffodils and
yeah. So the
tulips.
depth is very important. Now a lot of these bulbs here, and I'm sure they're in a lot of the garden centres. They will they tell you how deep to go, or
Yeah, they normally you have some instructions in the back.
instructions here? Yeah.
Or in the front as well. See this one in the back is in a cool, dry place, 4 to 10 degrees. Planting depth 15 centimeter will be 3 times the size, more or
Size of
less.
it. Yeah. Okay.
And the spacing in 15-20. That's not true.
Okay.
You can do what you want.
Because that's
whatever
what
you want,
that's
okay?
where I was going to go next, because
You can do
spacing is a big thing.
dotting, like they say here, dotting here and there. Or you can just put clusters or groups or different types of everything. You can play with whatever you like, and everybody's different. Some people like scatter, some people like.
Because you know what, and I remember Trish used to always say it as well too, is that when you actually have, sometimes when you plant them and you put them all together, that burst of colour and they all close together, it looks amazing. It stands out so much more.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do that as well while you play with dotted.
Yeah.
So you can do clusters and play with dots.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Especially with different colours, because the tulips have got a lot of varieties of colours. And there's so many.
And heights and sizes and flowering time. So you can play daffodils. See the one that I have in my hand?
Yeah.
The Greenveld early sensation. That flowers as early as Christmas.
Whoa.
Okay?
Right.
So you have daffodils till Christmas, till well into May.
Yeah.
So if you get the right varieties, you're gonna have these ones first, then the tete-a-tete or Jetfire, and then you got to go to all the others that are the Dutch Master that are in April, May. So you can have daffodils for nearly 6 months.
Wow. Yeah, that's some colour. And we've got a huge bag of the daffodils here. These ones, the mixed ones. Yeah, white and
that's
yellows.
What I'm saying. That's a surprise.
Yeah,
surprise.
that's it, yeah. And there's a huge bag, so that
Yes.
literally would allow you to put a nice little cluster in a corner, and then another corner, and then whatever,
Exactly, and then you have in mind that they will be naturalizing, and they will be spreading.
What do you mean by naturalizing?
Naturalizing is they will be getting adapted to the soil,
Okay.
the soil, and they will be spreading and filling.
Okay.
And that will be happening with the bluebells as well.
Yeah. So
And
talk to us
some
about the
others.
bluebells. Bluebells are one of my favourite. I used to love seeing them at the start of spring every year around where I used to grow up.
Yeah,
it's
they
a
are
really
beautiful.
beautiful sign of them, isn't it?
I love them in woodlands. When you're walking into woodlands in May, and
coming
it's
up
all
through the
this,
moss
all
and-
this filter light,
Yeah.
and they are all there, and it's just
like a
simply
carpet of
beautiful.
purple.
I've been seeing things with the wild garlic and then the bluebells, and the scent of the wild garlic, and then all the blue and white in the woodlands, and it gives you some kind of peace.
Yeah,
it's a
it's
beautiful thing.
Yeah. So let's bring it into the garden. Why not bring it into the garden, Miguel?
That's it. The only thing is that if they naturalize and they come you see that it's too many. You
Okay.
can move them. You
Right.
can move them when they are dormant. When the leaves fade, when the leaves are yellow, just move them and put them somewhere else, or give them to friends, or whatever you want, or dispose them if they're going to
A bit too much.
invasive,
Yeah,
let's say.
invasive, yeah, yeah.
Especially some people come with questions about moonbrishes, the crocosmian summer ones.
Okay.
You can remove those bulbs because they are bulbs when they are dormant in the winter. And you can, it's the best way of getting rid of them when they are a little bit invading.
Okay,
those
so when they're
gardens.
covering a bit too much space and kind of taking
Exactly.
over
You
an
can
area.
remove them.
Okay, so the
Just
way of
dig
trying to
them.
controlling them a small bit. Yeah.
Just remove the bulbs.
Yeah.
Just basically go with the spade and dig a little bit.
Okay.
And take as many ones as you want.
Yeah.
That's very interesting for borders,
Borders.
for
yeah.
side roads, for road
Driveways,
road,
along
driveways
driveways
or,
and stuff. They can
or
lovely.
sides of the roads or something like that around your house, because they will be spreading slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, you can have a very, very long-lasting flowering if you just
if you get the
combine
right
different varieties.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other.
So we're going to go from earlier to later.
Okay.
All right. So earlier varieties, you can find the daffodils. There are, again, it's many of them, but then you have the muscari, the crocus.
Oh, the crocus, beautiful. Yeah.
So these, the glory of the snow, Galanthus nivalis, they flower even in January, sometimes in December. The glory of the snow.
Glory of the snow.
This
Okay.
beauty.
Right,
They are
lovely.
very early flowering.
Kind of a light blue color.
They are very, very early flowering.
Yeah.
So you have in early spring, you have sun daffodils, you have crocus, you have the grape hyacinths and the glory of the snow.
Yeah.
So those are very early.
Yeah,
so
and
you
again,
start having flower. If you
straight
can
away.
start,
Look at the color. Look at the color.
Exactly.
Blues, purples, yellows. It's
and
wow.
you have
Yellows.
some plants that they will be flowering till the end of October. Then you could have the hellebores, early hellebores, and some bedding plants or like cyclamen or things like that. And then you start with the daffodils. So
Yeah.
you can nearly
they'll all
have
overlap
12
months of the year.
months of flowers, you know,
Yeah.
if you have a good spot.
Yeah, and again, you've got your beautiful hyacinth here as well too, which again is a beautiful bright pink. And look, all the information is there.
scented.
3 bulbs, beautiful smell. February, March, they'll be flowering. You know,
Exactly, and they will, some of them, they will naturalize like crocus, but the interesting thing is, again, checking the labels, getting some information to try to prolong flowering in your garden as much as you can.
and I'd say as one thing as well too, try not to throw away the information. Like keep the cards.
Yep.
Put them in a little part of your shed, so at least then you can kind of remember what you
Especially-
planted, where you planted them, and how.
Especially if you remove the bulbs.
Yeah.
If you're removing those begonias from the ground, if you have the labels, you can put the labels there because you might have different colors,
Colours,
or
yeah.
different varieties of begonias, and then next year they all look the same. So if you have the label, if you keep the labels,
Yeah.
even from the pots, you buy them from pots, keep the labels for next year to,
Yeah.
to make sure that you're not gonna get something unexpected.
Yeah.
See what you have in your hand, anemone. They can be planted, ranunculus as well, ranunculaceous in family normally. They can be planted in now or in spring.
Now or spring. Okay.
Yeah,
So
if-
they're fairly. Okay.
So if you plant them now, you will be having flowers in the spring.
Okay.
If you plant them in spring, you'll have flowers in the summer.
Summer. Oh.
The only thing is, don't plant this, don't keep this in your shed for
Oh.
planting them in the spring. Buy them fresh.
Okay.
If not, they won't be germinating very good.
Right,
So
right.
they need to be somehow fresh.
And these, wow, these bulbs are very different, Miguel. They're like,
Yeah, those
they're
small
really
little
like
tubers.
wood pellets or something.
Yeah.
They're
See,
called. These are
those-
tubers, is it?
The small little tubers.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Dry tubers, actually.
They look like small little brown stones. Wow, very unusual.
That's when I say it's just it's different. We call them all bulbs, but they are
Yeah.
not. They are not.
Yeah,
The
you've got
real
you've
bulbs
got their
are
own
some of them only.
varieties. Yeah, yeah.
So that's mid-spring.
Okay.
At mid-spring, you have tulips as well. Tulips is another breed. It's a different thing.
Okay.
They won't naturalize well. Sorry, like daffodils or crocus. So
okay.
well, Darwin varieties. This is the Darwin hybrid yellow. The Darwin varieties can last up to 5 years.
Oh.
So
Nice.
the thing is that they will be getting smaller flowers and weaker flowers year after year.
Okay. Right.
So it's recommended to top them up.
Okay.
every year. Some of them they won't naturalize at all.
Right.
So some of them it's just better
You'll just
move
get
them
1
and
year.
move them and treat them as annuals normally.
Okay,
that would
right.
be. So be careful with the tulips you get. Some of them they won't come back next year, or they will come back 1 or 2 years. Very different.
So
different
again,
flowering.
it's all about coming in and talking to you guys and
Yes.
asking the experts. And of course, we've got some tools to help you as well too. We've got
Absolutely,
the measurements here on this little
get
kind
the
of
right depth.
the right
Yeah.
depth, which always will help everybody doing that. But listen, we're going to finish up here just talking about another very popular thing that people
Yes.
love to plant. It's onions and garlic.
Well, that's quickly a little bit. So garlic, you just get
Break the cloves.
break the cloves
Yeah.
and plant them individually.
All right.
15 centimeter distance between them, 5 centimeter deep, give or take, except in the large elephant ones.
All right.
Give them 30 centimeters because they're very large plants actually.
Yeah. They live up to their name.
They will be flowering, get rid of the flower,
Okay.
like in onions. Okay, the
Yeah.
onions will be more or less the same principle, 5 centimeters deep, 15 centimeter wide between them. When they flower,
Cut
chop
them.
the flower.
Yeah. Why?
That will be giving energy to the bulb. You will
So
have
they
a bigger
won't
onion.
waste. They won't waste their energy on the
in
flower.
on the flower.
They'll keep it
Right,
inside.
they keep it to the garlic. Then give them a good start with some manure or a decent compost initially, and then feed them with potash in early spring.
Okay.
Normally,
So when you're putting these in the ground,
No.
use good manure.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
And then
And
potash.
we're talking like our chicken
Chicken
manure.
manure, yeah.
This bucket is probably one of the most useful things
Useful
really
thing,
any
actually,
gardener can have,
actually.
isn't it? It's the Westland organic chicken manure pellets, and we've talked about them so many times
Many
with a lot of
times.
different
Don't
things.
go mad with it. But
Don't go mad 'cause it's
mix
quite
it a
strong.
little bit with the soil
Yeah.
or the compost to give them a good start.
Okay.
Now in February you give them
Potash.
March a little bit of potash, and that's it.
Yeah.
They will be they will be ready to harvest early summer,
Yeah.
while the spring ones, the ones that you saw in spring, they will be late
autumn.
summer.
Okay. Or late
So
summer, early autumn.
they you remember that you can harvest those fellas slightly earlier as
Okay.
scallion
Scallions.
types,
Yes. Yes.
okay,
Yes.
which are my favorite.
As
more
my
than
mother's
the
favorite as
black.
well. My mother used to always love
the
scallions.
mature onions to me are very
Okay.
strong like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, everybody has different taste.
Uh-huh.
But very easy to grow.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind to break them.
Break up the garlic. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I nearly put the whole lot in, but I see them at home, even my own garlic in the fridge. After a while, if you get a lot, they start little sprouting.
Yeah. So that gives you an idea of how easy are they
is.
to grow.
Yeah.
Because they sprout by themselves.
Yeah.
That's all energy, that all reservoir that
A
they
reservoir,
have
yeah, reserve.
is
Yeah.
when they start feeling that is the time, even if they have no soil, they start.
Yeah, they'll
feeling
still go.
it.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And very easy to go. Don't think that because you're sowing them now, you'll have them in 100 or 120 days like the other ones.
Okay.
You have probably onions, but garlic will be taking longer.
Yeah. But it's
But-
also by putting them in the ground now and stuff like that, the flavour will be possibly a little bit better because they'll take longer to grow, or is it?
No, I don't think is
Not like that.
affected. It's more the harvest time that is 2 or 3 times earlier than the other ones. So you have to, and some of them are earlier than others. So you can combine one or two to make a little bit.
Okay. Brilliant.
But
Brilliant.
very easy to grow, both
Yeah.
of them.
Excellent. Well, listen, that's pretty much all we got time for today here on the show. Again, every single garden centre is going to have this, a beautiful collection here, I have to say. You've been working so hard, Miguel. No, it wasn't you, Caroline, one of the other guys.
The power pallet trap.
Is that it? So, so do call in. Do make sure that you can get some of these into the soil now to benefit in spring and also
Exactly.
in early summer. So it's
And
all about planning
remember-
ahead.
I'm sorry, and remember you can nearly have a full year.
Full year
Flowers.
flowering if you get the right varieties. Talk to your local garden centre like my good friend Miguel here, who we are going to say farewell until next week. Thanks very much for listening and for watching. Until next time, happy gardening.